Arcade Heroes.
Hey everybody, Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com with some quick news. I often do quick news stuff on the News Bites post at the end of the week on ArcadeHeroes.com, but figured I might try something new with some quick news on video, and maybe I'll be doing more of that on the blog as well. But either way, right here, what you're seeing is from the website of the AAMA, or the American Amusement Machine Association. So they're a trade organization that deals with arcade manufacturers and bigger sites like family entertainment centers. So they represent these companies in Washington, D.C. and do some other stuff along those lines. And they also hold what's called a gala, an annual AAMA Gala there in Chicago once a year, usually in September. And the 2021 gala was just held. Now, I did not get a chance to go there, but I know somebody who did, and so they provided me a little bit of information. Sometimes, or usually, there are some brand new games that we've never seen before at the show. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case here, but there were some new games that we've talked about on video as well as on the website. And so before I get to that, this gala often has what are called panels, where you just have some different people from the industry, usually CEOs or managers or higher-ups, that get together and hold these panels to discuss a certain issue or do Q&A and that sort of thing. And so that's what you're seeing here on the different photos. Now, unfortunately, I don't know who's in a lot of these photos. In this one, there's Gary Stern there, the second from the right, on the Industry CEO Roundtable discussion. And I was told that this was a really good panel, very insightful, lots of good information, but they didn't say exactly what that was. And then there was another panel that about manufacturers, how do they make those things, which to me is kind of an interesting concept, but probably not so much to players out there. But here I do recognize everybody on stage, as I've met with them before or seen them. And so the guy on the left is Pete Gustafsson, who I believe is the president of the AAMA, or he has been in the past. And then there's Chris Brady, who's the one holding the microphone. He's with LAI Games. And then you have George Gomez with Stern Pinball. And then the guy in the red shirt is George Petro of Play Mechanics and Raw Thrills. So, again, I'm not sure what they talked about exactly, but that's one of the things they did talk about there, is how they make that stuff. But for games, which is what I assume most of you are going to be interested in, we have this photo from an arcade distributor known as AVS Companies. And so the lady in the middle, whose name on the badge says Michelle Lopez, is the one there in the middle, but unfortunately I couldn't make out what the names are of the two guys next to her. So they might be with AVS, or they might be clients of AVS, I'm not sure. But either way, in this photo is the only thing that I've seen from the event where they kind of set up a miniature trade show so everybody that's attending the gala can see the new products that their competitors are basically offering to bring out. And usually these products will show up at other big trade shows, such as IAAPA, which that's another giant trade show that I always like to say is the E3 of the arcade and amusement industry. That takes place in November, however. And there actually is an IAAPA Europe event that's about to take place in a day or two in Barcelona, Spain. But the game that you're seeing in the back there is Asphalt 9 Legends, and that has been picked up by LAI Games. It was originally developed by a Taiwanese company known as IGS, and then there's a Chinese company known as Wallop that's also involved. I'm not 100% sure how. But then, of course, LAI picked it up for Western distribution. And so, as you can see from this photo, this is the first time it was shown off to the industry, although this is a bit more closed doors. Like a lot of the industry events that happen, like Amusement Expo or the aforementioned IAAPA, tend to be open to the public. You just have to pay to get in a certain amount. I'm not sure how much for those, but again, they're also mainly focused on the industry and not so much the general public. But, of course, these games will soon be available for the general public. As I've talked about before, Asphalt 9 will be available, I believe, November 1st, but it will be at IAAPA Europe as well. And what they had at the gala was, I believe, a couple of the standard units, which they call premium, which don't have motion on them, and then the model and that's the model on the left. The one on the right is the motion deluxe model, and so the game is the same between the two. The only difference is the motion base, and so that again is coming from LAI Games. And from the guy that I talked to about the gala, I asked him, what was there, what did you like? The first thing he mentioned was Asphalt 9, and he said he really enjoyed it. He got first place. He felt that it was well balanced as far as the gameplay went, and that it looks really good, and that he also really liked the wind effect. Now, of course, wind effects have been on other arcade games before. It's on Superbikes 3 currently, and I think it was on MotoGP, but it's not on every arcade racing game. But it's one way to help distinguish a game. Like Asphalt 9 is available for home on mobile and PC, and so that adding the wind effect just allows it to further stand out from the additional changes that they would have made for the arcade software. And so that is mainly the game that showed up there, but he also, my insider also did mention that Godzilla Pinball was there, so that would be the first time that machine has appeared to the industry, and he seems lukewarm on it. He's not mainly a pinball guy, so he's sort of a pinball guy, so I don't know what his skill level is exactly on pinball, but I guess he didn't care too much for the theme, maybe not a Godzilla fan. And he also mentioned that he got to play Oktoberfest by American Pinball, so I was a little surprised to hear that, because I've not heard anything from American Pinball since they were at Amusement Expo 2020, back in March 2020, when they debuted Hot Wheels. But he really didn't like Oktoberfest, and I can understand why, because it is a bit of a tough game to play. But he didn't mention anything else as far as what was there. I know some other companies like Adrenaline Amusements and Bandai Namco Amusements were there, but since he didn't mention anything from them, I'm guessing they must not have had anything really new. So we'll have to wait for IAAPA Expo Europe for that sort of news, or IAAPA 2021 in November. But yeah, that's the news on the AAMA Gala 2021. For other news, stay tuned to arcadeheroes.com and this channel, of course, for anything extra. And if you like these quicker news bites, then just let me know and I'll try and make more of them. There is some news coming on the Exa Arcadia next week, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, who knows what will be the next piece of news. But thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.